All right, so today I am joined by Emmy Award-winning actor and producer Mike Manning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, Mike, you have been making great strides in the groundbreaking series Beyond the Gates, playing Bradley Smitty Smith. So, let me begin
Mhm.
by asking, what drew you to this role, and what does it mean to you personally to play one half of a biracial gay couple raising two kids?
Well, you kind of just said it. I mean, it's the first time that I've ever played one half of a biracial gay couple with two adopted kids.
Mhm.
So it was an exciting role for me. I think in a lot of ways, I think that representation matters, and I think that the power of television is that people invite you into their homes or onto their phones or however they digest the show. They invite you to be a part of their lives, and when you're able to play characters that allow a wider range of people to see themselves in those characters, I think it's powerful. And then other people, you're just opening them up to new ideas, new ways of thinking and being, and that's also powerful.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and for me, I've been having such a blast playing Smitty.
Mhm.
The show itself is groundbreaking. It's the first soap in 25 years, but it's the first hour-long soap ever that has centered around a black family
Mhm.
from its inception. There was Generations back in 1989, and that included a black family. But this is the first of its kind that has centered around the nucleus of the entire show is a black family. And so that in and of itself is groundbreaking. So to be a part of the show and then to be playing the character that I'm playing, it's been a really wonderful experience for me.
Awesome. Yeah, and Smitty is such a complex, multidimensional gay character. Was there a certain approach you wanted to go with it?
Well, yeah, I think with Smitty, the thing I like about him is that it breaks expectations of gender roles, I think,
Mhm.
because one minute Smitty will be, playing basketball or in the gym with his husband, and they're sort of participating in more masculine seeming activities. And
Mhm.
then the next episode, Smitty's wearing an apron, having just made dinner, and I love that because I love playing sports. I also love cooking, and I think that for a long time, uh, especially in America, I think that men have been prescribed to certain gender activities, gender roles, and this show is also breaking that for me. So, Smitty is an ex-investigative journalist, so he has that going for him as well. He likes to be the dad and be a good father to his kids and a figure at home, but in the show he's itching to go back to work. He's itching to get back into politics and into journalism, so that's also a fun aspect of Smitty that I get to play.
Yeah.
I see him as like a younger Anderson Cooper.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it really seems like Beyond the Gates is really pushing that conversation for representation, right?
It is, and not in a way that's trying to beat anyone over the head with uh, politics. It's doing it because that is more reflective of our country in 2025.
Yeah.
So the simplicity of the message of just trying to reflect more of the audience is what I think makes it so magical.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And what else do you ultimately hope queer audiences take away from Beyond the Gates?
I hope queer audiences just feel seen
Mhm.
in the characters of Smitty and Martin. I hope that they
Mhm.
realize that, they are just as deserving as a loving, committed, somewhat dramatic, but the same type of relationship that we've seen for so many years with straight couples on television. Now we're seeing it with queer couples, and I'm just happy to be part of that.
Fantastic. Now, Mike, you initially gained fame as a cast member on MTV's The Real World DC in 2009 at 22 years old. How do you reflect on that journey from coming out on reality TV to now leading such a powerful narrative?
Well, we just talked about the power of television, and for me, I was cast in real world by following a friend to a random audition. I had never seen the show before.
Really?
And I remember moving to DC. And when I got there, I wasn't out. I wasn't comfortable with myself. I barely knew anything about politics. And then over the course of my season, I became involved with the Human Rights Campaign. I learned about politics. I became more comfortable with myself. And I also found my voice as an activist. And by the end of the season, I was lobbying for the Human Rights Campaign about gay rights.
Yeah.
And so it was a really special time in my life. And I'm really grateful for the experience that I had on MTV because I can honestly say I don't know if I would be where I am today in terms of being an entertainer. And
Mhm.
I can certainly say I wouldn't be where I am today in terms of how comfortable I am with myself and my voice had it not been for that experience.
Exactly. And why did you decide to come out while on the show? What was the deciding factor behind that? And did you have any concerns about the repercussions?
I absolutely had concerns about the repercussions. I grew up in Colorado and I had told my parents before going on the show, but not very long before. I came out to them by writing a letter and I said, okay, I'll be here for, any questions. And then I went back to them and I said, hey, mom and dad, I'm going to be on a show on MTV and there's a chance I might come out on the show
Mhm.
and they were against it. They told me not to. They said it would affect my ability to get jobs, my potential safety. Pointed out that my grandparents were going to watch the show, and my cousins, and my community in Colorado, and they put a lot of pressure on me to not say anything. And so when I went into the house, I remember not being sure if I was going to be honest about who I was because that's a lot of pressure to put on a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a week into filming and I realized very quickly that I wasn't going to be able to escape the cameras. They follow you with a camera everywhere, even if you leave the house. You have microphones in the walls. If you take your shirt off, you're wearing a microphone in your necklace. You can't watch television. You can't listen to the radio. And so I quickly realized I was like, you know what? If I try to live a lie for 3.5 months
Mhm.
on this show, I am going to go crazy.
Mhm.
And so a week into it, we were having a cast dinner at Buca de Beppo. And this is in one of the episodes. And everybody's going around the table playing the numbers game of how many people you've fooled around with. And it's going around, and one guy says something, one girl says something, one whatever, and it comes to me, and I forget the exact numbers, but I'm white knuckling it under the table, and I say something like 24 girls, and they're like okay, and they start laughing and we're joking and stuff, and it's about to go to the next person, and I say something, and I'm like, and four guys, and you could have heard a pin drop. They say, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, and four guys. And they're like, Mike, this is the numbers game. It's like people you've like hooked up with. And I said, yeah.
Mhm.
And that was my way of coming out on the show. And, you know, I'm not sure that I would have changed it because at that time in my life, for who I was at that point, that kind of coming out experience was it was kind of perfect for where I was at the time.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, that led you to working with the HRC, and then you've also been with the Thirst Project, a legacy youth leadership. You've been involved in workplace discrimination, civil rights cases. What keeps you so engaged and inspired to do advocacy?
At the end of the day, we only have a certain amount of time on this planet, and I want to leave this world knowing that I did whatever I could to make it a better place.
Fantastic. Well, what are your thoughts on our current presidential administration that's trying to strip away so many basic human rights for the queer community?
It's awful. I think that during a handful of recent administrations, things have gotten better and better for the queer community. And obviously, there's a long way to go, but there are some very, very important rights with workplace discrimination and repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the federal recognition of marriage, and dozens and dozens of these advances that we have made, treating the LGBTQ plus community with equality. And a lot of those protections are under attack right now, and it is awful. It is awful. My hope is that because some of these protections have been put in place through executive orders, my hope is that Congress can actually do something and pass some of these bills that make them laws and not just executive orders to cement the protections for the LGBTQ plus community into our United States government.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that there are a handful of equality organizations that are working on that. And then in the meantime, I just hope that the courts can block any attempt by the current administration to roll back any of those protections.
Yeah. Let's
And
hope.
and it's also so sad that we have to even be having this conversation.
It really
It's
is.
2025,
Mhm.
and we're talking about rights being stripped away for thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions of people in this country. And they are like US citizens. They are tax-paying US citizens that deserve the same treatment. It's not like we're asking for special treatment. We're asking just to be treated like everyone else.
Exactly.
And it's disgusting to me that we're even having this conversation right now.
It really is. I wholeheartedly agree. Yes. Well, has it been at all challenging to balance your loves for entertainment and activism, or do they intersect pretty well for you?
For me, I I think my job is as an entertainer. I think my who I am is an activist.
Mhm.
And so I would hope that people can respect my work and what I bring to the table in television shows and movies and whatnot, but also respect me enough that even if they don't agree with my opinions as an activist, know that that's a big part of who I am,
Mhm.
and we can at least have a respectful dialogue. I I I would hope that as my platform grows and as I am able to reach more people, I'm able to use that platform to do some good in this world because God knows we need it. But yeah, I don't think that I'll ever stop being an activist, just like I don't think I'll ever stop being an entertainer.
Good. Fantastic. Well, another project you're working on right now is co-writing, producing, and starring in Eyes in the Trees opposite Anthony Hopkins. What can you tell us about that experience and this story?
Yeah, so it has always been a dream of mine to work with Anthony Hopkins, and the fact that he is now in a movie that I co-wrote
Mhm.
and that partially came out of my imagination is just insane to me. I remember being on set, standing behind the monitor, watching him say the words that previously I had only heard in my brain, and it was one of those goosebumps, pinch me moments.
Mhm.
And it was incredible. I cannot wait for the world to see that. It's called Eyes in the Trees. We shot it in Thailand. It's loosely based on the sci-fi thriller The Island of Dr. Moreau, the
Good.
book, not the movies, the book, and by H.G. Wells. And yeah, I really, really can't wait for the world to see it.
Nice. Do we know when that's going to be coming out yet?
I'm not sure
Okay.
yet.
So still in the early stages. Okay, perfect. Well, you're also taking on like an alien type role soon. What can you tell us about this project and what drew you to sci-fi?
So it's a project called Unexpected Treasures. It's shot in Joshua Tree in April around my birthday, and it's also in post-production right now. But I play an alien that meets up with a woman who's down on her luck
Mm.
in the Joshua Tree community, and we go on this road trip journey to get me back to my spaceship. So it was a great movie. I really felt like it was a group of friends that just came together to make a movie, even though I'd never met these people before.
Mm.
We quickly became close. The whole Joshua Tree community rallied around the movie, and we got a lot of favors and a lot of people wanting to be a part of the film.
Mm.
And it was great. It's the first time I've ever played an alien before, and so I tried to bring. I studied a bunch of movies. I studied like uh, what did I study? I studied K-Pax, the Kevin Spacey movie. I studied. Um, I studied what's that show? The Alien Neighbor. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what it is right now, but Alien Resident or something like that.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of X-Files. Um, I watched a little bit of I Am Sam
Okay.
with Sean Penn because I feel like he has such a level of compassion and awareness in that movie. So I tried to bring that to the character. It was fun. I really took my time to create a brand new character that I never played before, and we will see what people think.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Mike, how do you hope your career, both on and off screen, impacts the next generation of LGBTQ plus actors and active advocates?
I hope that my career on and off screen, well, I'll say it this way. I hope that my career on screen inspires, how do I want to phrase this? Because that's a great question. I hope that my career on screen continues to allow people to see themselves in these different characters
Mhm.
and feel a little less alone in the world and feel inspired to make their own movies and make their own TV shows and try to carve out their own careers in entertainment. And then I hope my career off screen continues to fight to make this world a better place and fight against the forces of evil. And I know it sounds a little comic book, but I do believe that there is a light side and a dark side, and
Yes.
I do hope to always remain on the right side of history when trying to fight for equality and representation and visibility and equal fairness for marginalized communities all across the board.
Mhm.
And I hope that my activism inspires others to do that as well.
Mhm. Perfect. Well, what are some other future goals you hope to accomplish with your career and platform?
I want an Oscar, baby.
All right, there you go. Ultimate goal.
You heard it here. Yeah. And I just want to be able to continue to have the opportunity to create different characters and tell different stories. And yeah, if I can continue to be paid for to do what I love, then that's all I need.
Yep, definitely. Well, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
Yeah, on social media, I'm just Mike underscore Manning underscore. I had to put some underscores in there. That's on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on let's see, Threads, and then my website is mikemanning.info.
Okay.
So if they want to keep up with my projects, I have somebody update them on there as well. And yeah, I love interacting with people. So whether it's Instagram or X or whatever else, I'm loving. People are very opinionated about the Beyond the Gates show,
Of
for
course.
better or for worse, and I love seeing it. I love interacting with them. We have some really cool things coming up in the show. We have some really cool ways that we explore the Martin Smitty relationship dynamic and the family dynamic. And so I hope people tune in and continue to share their opinions with me.
All right, perfect. And then there we go. I lasted this entire interview without coughing like that. My apologies.
No, no worries, no worries.
Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
No, right now I'm just trying to focus on the show, and there's a few films that I shot that are in post-production right now that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but will be soon. And until then, I'm just trying to uh, have Smitty fight the good fight on camera and have Mike fight the good fight off camera.
All right, fantastic.